A third episode of Orb. Raph has found himself in a interesting spot, learning to lie, of course, one of the many wonders of the world that everybody should take up and learn at some point. Will now venture into his future with Hubert gone. What kind of stands in front of him? I do wonder with his journey and his quest off to college, likely university here. I'm excited to see what he gets into. I'm a little nervous. We did lay the groundwork for potential of getting caught, for potential of maybe willing to sacrifice one's life for the truth. And that day won't come episode 3, but potentially can come at some point, and it leaves me a little worried, but a little excited at the same time to see if we can overcome that or see how successful it is even in the chance that could occur. So I'm praying for the best. I'm hoping for a really fun, awesome journey. The first 2 episodes were stellar, and I'm assuming more of that. Probably reset a little bit here, I would assume, and set things up again, probably explore a new area or maybe introduce new characters and stuff. And we'll probably go from there would be my guess. So I'm very excited to see what we got and what goes on. Hopefully you enjoy. If you like it all, the like and subscribe. That's my feel free to stick around the discussion. Let me comments. This is our series. We're going with episode 3 of Orb. He'll be home. Not that he'll care. He's got all the books. I mean, yeah, burn it. Perfect. That's what I wanted you to do the last time. Just got to memorize everything too, which is so annoying. Or are you storing everything here? Got it. Ooh, that could blow up in your face. Is he out while you're doing this? Or are we fake theology studying? Clean up after ourselves. Oh, there. he wouldn't lie to me. Yeah. You need us for something? Or are you just making small talk? Yeah, theology is really going to be the thing that contributes. Why did he give you that? Yes, thank you for questioning these things. To never become that. Sure.
本当に関わっていないと神に誓えるか。もちろん誓います。僕は今の宇宙を信じています。
It's a big one.
ご協力どうも。
Big lie to take on. It's in a hurry to get on out of there. You played it well on the outside, though. Now you can deal with your dad. But still.
燃えてなかったのか。てか、なんで机に。まさか父さんに見つかっ。計算が修正されてる。
Oh.
その紙は自然消化しやすい。燃やすなら灰になるまで見ておけ。
この修正。父さんのものですか。
私は何も知らん。
Interesting.
ここのところ派手に動きすぎた。
Yes, yes, you have.
資料も足りなくて少し行き詰まってたところだ。ここらで一旦休んで大学が落ち着いてきたら研究を再開する。
外出中か。
Gonna come snooping again, leaving some traces.
私はなんてこと。あの計算を修正するなど。もしこれがバレたら。
The old you coming back out. Oh, brother.
どうも。
どうも。
Coming to investigate a little bit.
いやいや、突然すいません。フベルトさんってあなたの教え子だったんでしょ？
In what way?
異端とはいえ複雑ですよね。
いえ、異端は異端です。それに山ほ
Right, is what it is.
一人に過ぎない。
Okay.
特別な思いはありません。
あなたに異端の前科があって、それがフベルトと同じ地動説の罪でも？
Interesting.
私の話です。もう改心してる。フベルトとは研究の話なんてしていない。
But you did bring him into a home to potentially corrupt someone.
に転校したり、養子を取ったり、前科の印象を消そうと必死だ。
But on the
二
outside,
度目
that
の異
would-
端だけは避けたいんでしょう。
yeah.
二度も配信する輩には骨まで悪魔が取り付いちまってる。異端者本人のためにも最も強力な方法で悪を払う。どうするか知ってますでしょ？
燃やすんでしょ。生きたままで。
肉体が灰になっちまうんだ。最後の審判で復活する体がなくなる。ズバリ無になる。記憶も経験も意識も魂も死後の世界も全部無だ。私はそんな運命はごめんだな。
We don't want all your hard work to turn to that now, would you?
あんたの子供異端研究してるだろう。
I love that he's actually not stupid.
しかしあんな子供が異端とは世も末だな。異端研究が行われていることを知っていながら密告しなかった場合、あなたは終わりだ。なんか知ってるなら早めに密告した方がいいですよ。
It's better for the both of us.
しかもあの子は初犯だ。改心すればすぐ釈放する。
Right, just like you.
と密告した方がみんな傷つかない。
本当に初犯は死なずに済むんですよね。
ええ。
Brother, lock in. Do not say that. I asked the baby wants to turn him in. So let's have a talk. Just talk about it at this point.
帰ってたのか。どうした？
この前の計算修正。あれはどういう？
ラファウ。地動説は証明できると思うか？
I love that question. Because everything he does will... His decision now is very
そ
different.
うか。
父さん。
すまない。今日はもう寝てくれ。詳しいことは明日話そう。
おはよ
すまない、ラファウ。
う。では、
Not the route I thought we were gonna go.
手続きは整った。明日から正式に拷問が始まる。ネジを回すとこの通り、梨が開く。口の中で4回転もすれば頬は下げて1年は喋れなくなる。誰も痛みからは逃れられないが、2つだけ回避法がある。
Just talk.
明日の裁判で改心を宣言しろ。そしてもう二度と天文に関わるな。
Just lie.
必要な何かを明かしてその手で全て燃やせ。
それだけですか？
ああ、俺だって子供を虐待する趣味はないよ。
But a job's a
あ
job.
と、これ、君のだろ？大学の入学許可証。これはまだ有効だ。進学で人生をやり直せる。この世で最も肝心な選択とは何を諦めるか。
Fucking hell, dude. I actually really thought that due to his determination to believe he could do this, he would stick up for him and they would create a plan for him to get away.
まあ やってもいいだろう。今までなんとかなってきた。この局面も多分なんとかなるだろう。
Like the positivity, but
資料を焼いても積んでない。前科がついても積んでない。天文が禁止されても仲間がいなくても積んでない。まだ積んでない。積んで
can't even convince yourself.
なぜ僕はこんなことをしてるんだ。地動説に出会わなければ今も僕は秀才のままで、周囲にはもてはやされて生活は快適で、将来を嘱望されて行く先は希望に満ちて、世界はずっとちょろいはずで。
It's not what you want, though,
な
is
ぜ
it?
僕はこんなことを。地動説なんて何の意味も。月明かり。前にもこんなことあったっけ。あの頃と同じで
Just draws you
天
in.
文を続けるのは合理的じゃない。
Can't help
あ
but
の頃
look.
と同じで空はずっと遠くにある。今はあの頃よりはっきりと空がよく見える。こんなに美しかったのか。
Time to lock in and formulate a plan, brother.
教会公認の学説と異なることを理解していましたか？
Yep.
はい、理解していました。
Still went ahead
我
with
々
it.
教会側は被告に改心の宣言および関係資料の開示と文書を要求しています。
はい。
被告の優良な成績を鑑み、我々の要求を受け入れた場合、大学への進学を許可します。その入学許可証を受け取りますか？
肝心なのは何を諦めるかだ。正解を選べ。言葉では何とでも言える。
Scary thing, the more of a hole you may dig, the more you may lie.
では宣言してください。
宣言します。僕は地動説を信じてます。
Watch a torture sequence.
友人でもこんなにいいものが飲めるんですね。
And children up.
前日に特別に与えるものだよ。
そうでしたか。一緒に飲みませんか？一人ではもったいない。資料を焼かない方が地動説のためになると思った。
無駄だ。拷問を甘く見るな。どうせ明日の昼には宝のありかを吐くさ。
敵は手強いですよ。あなた方が相手にしてるのは僕じゃない。
It's the truth.
ある種の想像力であり、好奇心であり。
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
宗教
Oh, no, yeah,
知
yeah.
性だ。
知性。
それは流行り病のように増
One day, whether you're here or not, you will face it.
組織が手なずけられるほど可愛げのあるものじゃない。
では勝つのは君か。この選択は君の未来にとって正解だと思うのか。
Not his future, the
そりゃ
future.
不正解でしょう。でも不正解は無意味を意味しません。ところで、消し飲みの効果は知ってますか？それと毒物を混ぜると、まあ簡単に言うと苦しまずに死ねる。で、さっきそれをコップに入れました。
I was wondering why we showed it earlier.
そっちにじゃありませんよ。飲んだのは僕です。
No need for torture.
死ぬのか。
まあ。
まあじゃないだろ。
Don't have to give up a location, don't have to get tortured.
どこまで教会をコケにするんだ。
It's not about humiliating the church.
なんか誰も知りませんよ。ソクラテス曰く、誰も死を味わってないのに、誰もが最大の悪であるかのように決めつける。
そんなの2000年近くも前の愚かな異教徒の言葉だろ。奴らには絶対心も救いもない。そんな言葉が何になる。
感動できる。フベルトさんは死んで消えた。でも、あの人のくれた感動は今も消えない。
Just like him 2000 years ago, the same people.
寿命の長さより大切なものだと思う。
Yeah.
だからこの場は僕の命に変えてでもこの感動を生き残らせる。
The betterment of the future, regardless if I'm here or not.
命すら投げる。そんな状態を狂気だとは思わないのか。
確かに。でもそんなのを愛とも言えそうです。
Fuck, bro. The day, the inspiration touches another.
これか。
What a fucking episode. What a way to cap off the arc of the boy Raph. Deserves it all the applause. Absolutely well fucking done. This tackles so many things that I love and I desire out of storytelling in a way. It's an idea, and I'm sure other series have at least attempted to do this, but to my knowledge of the big ones and the things that I've kind of read or watched or just consumed in a way, I'm not aware of one that really has. I, for the longest time, I remember having discussions with friends about this on multiple occasions. I have as well, where I've been a strong advocate for most series to have your main character be dead by the end of it. I truly believe, in terms of storytelling, it is the correct thing to do. Depends on the story, of course. So sometimes there's exceptions. I mean, we're not gonna have like a high school romance and somebody's gonna like that. We don't need that, you know. But things within like action genres and like so many other things, I do believe it usually is right, unless it's like a story where a character wants to like be gone at the beginning, like, and they're just like really depressed, and then you see them come out of it. Like they don't need to. Then there's definitely exceptions to it, but I do believe that it is almost always a lot of stories would be better if we wrapped it up in that sort of way. But back to the main point, the idea that I've always had and floated around and talked about was a little different than it's executed here, but a long-standing series, something long in length, you know, them Shonen Jump series that go for absolutely forever and like many volumes, where you begin a journey and you can go through a couple arcs or you could do whatever, but at some point the main character dies. And then everybody believes that's the end. But no, there's two different ways that you can take it from there. And in my vision, it can go either way, where typically somebody on like that person's kind of like crew, one of the side casts or other main characters or something, take over and become the new one that you essentially follow on their journey to continue. Or you just follow in the steps of the person who defeated them until you run into somebody else along the way. And I always thought it would be such a fascinating concept for you to continuously revolve around having multiple characters be your main throughout the series, and you go into like, you know, individual arcs, but overall sections and chapters that are kind of like, this is, you know, between these many volumes or chapters, this is this person's arc. And then you continue to do so. So it leaves it very unpredictable in a way of like, will this person die, you know, his first arc in, or will it take like 8 and we have to like really develop the type of person that he is? And I always thought it would be such a fun idea to explore and do that. But the issue that typically would come with that would be you have to sell everyone on each character. If you kill off a character that so many people love and then you return and you bring in a new one, it gets bad because nobody's going to be invested. They're all going to be upset that the guy that they like was killed off, and then, you know, somebody else new comes in, and it makes it really hard, I'd assume, to sell to like, you know, publishers and everything, and be like, this is what I want to do. They're gonna be like, you can't, that's the guy who brings in everything. Like, they love him. You can't do that, you know, and you lose some creative control in a way. And it'd be harder, especially with something that serializes like weekly in a way, or monthly, or whatever you actually, you know, have. Definitely makes it a harder thing for you to do. So I understand why many people don't, and you could lose a lot of viewer interest and reader interest or whatever. So it's a thing that definitely applies here with making it unpredictable and having Raph pass within this episode. And I think that's such a perfect thing to do, because you'd assume, if you tell me that, you know, you did, I'm not going to believe you, but maybe you did. I don't think anybody came into this episode at least expecting him to die. I said at the beginning, it's not like your MC's going to die this episode, but it can happen later. Well, I was wrong. Throw it out. Throw it all out. Burn it up. It's all right though. Like, I think that's such a perfect way for them to do it. And now to transition to a general idea of what are you willing to give for the truth to kind of live on. And sometimes, I talked about in the first episode, and it was where my mind immediately went, was you have to sacrifice and give your life for that to occur. So the fact that Raph actually did that and understood that his work and inspiration and that of those who came before him can be carried on through somebody else, even if he were to be gone, it may be the proper thing for you to do. And now we're faced with the idea of, we're going to have new protagonists be introduced. Will it be multiple? Will we continue to go down the path of these guys are just going to die out, and then we're going to eventually get to somebody who really changes things, and we can see within each time skip and passing of years the different characters that we go through that like truly believe in this, and at the same time really start to see the environment and the world around us change, run into more people who might be okay with it, run into maybe the church and others just be a little more lenient with the punishments and the things they do of those trying to advance society and oppose the church. We can really see a lot of development within the background as these years have passed, and as more and more people likely come about to understanding this. We don't have to go that route either. We can just go straight shoot it and leave things the way that they are now, until you have somebody who is an inspiration enough, somebody who is charismatic enough to really get a majority of people come around and truly buy into his own beliefs and the things that he's kind of found, which can also be extremely fun. So this will be interesting to see. We definitely could just go the route where the guys introduced towards the end are the mains and we follow them. But we can also just go into a route where they have to pass at some point and we switch to new characters a little bit going forward. And I think that that is so perfect. I think it makes a lot of sense too, with like Raph being so prevalent within the OP and ED, being like that initial inspiration, like figure, I guess, that we get to personally see, and how his influence in a way, those of course who came before him, but him being the first one that we really see carry on that legacy for as long as Lord knows. So I think that's so cool. It's such a fun thing to go into. Absolute badass way for him to, of course, go out on his own terms and really come to terms with like what he's personally okay with and what he's not, And I just, I don't know, to live it on the thing that he truly believes in. It's so beautiful. And I'm overly thrilled by how this episode turned out. It's gonna be home soon. I gotta go up and I gotta burn this. And I love the commitment. I didn't talk about this, but I love the commitment to having people like Novak and having people like Patatsky to be able to like not be dumb, right? We write characters a lot of times where they just like might seem smart or might be able to like be onto something, but at the same time the MC is always able to wiggle his way out of that. No, we don't leave that to be the case here. I talked about my own concern of like, it was pretty obvious at one point that Novak should have caught on to a lot of the stuff that's going on here. Why, you know, will he actually, or are we just going to make him play dumb and act like he's not seeing this? No, we play into it. We let him actually see this. We let him be like, okay, what are we doing here? You know, like noting that things are going on or going wrong or whatever. And I think that's so good. I absolutely love that. Finding the note even after it's supposed to be burned due to the carelessness of Raph to not stick around and properly watch it actually, you know, turn to ash here. It's just every single thing, pointing out the necklace. Why did he give you that? What is the significance? It has to mean something. There has to be something hidden, like not leaving any of these things that are in plain sight for us to see unturned in a way, and seeing the character have to wiggle his way out of it, sometimes convincingly, sometimes not. And even in the times where like Raph ends up being like, oh, this is just this, so I remember to not be like this. And instead of Noah just being like, yeah, good point, he's like, okay, and immediately goes and barges in trying to look for things that Raph might be up to and confront somebody about it, right? Like it's such just maturity, intelligence on each of these characters, and the way that we write this is not holding anything back. It's not providing the plot armor for our characters in a way that potentially stunts how serious that we should be taking this, right? It's a little harder to buy in and get invested into these things when you either make them goofy or make them like obvious to us, but make the characters around them be dumb. So giving everybody equal intellect, and at the same time, what we are thinking as viewers be things that these other characters are actually thinking too, and put them into full effect and show we're not afraid to have to kill people off or do these things and make difficult conversation and confrontation is really fun. And I adore it. I just hope for more. I pray absolutely for more. There is that concern that we are going to get a little further into this, of course, and you know, some of the characters introduced may not be as strong or as intriguing in the concept, and everything just might not hit as much because of like how influential Hubert and Raph ended up being within these few episodes. But let's not write them out, and we'll give them a fair chance, of course. But I'm very excited to see where we go, because I know for a fact that the author has absolute balls to go into and commit to this role, especially after what we see here. So it will leave me on my toes for the remainder, and I won't make any bold assumptions that we're waiting to the end to figure them out. You know, the only bold assumption I'm going to actually make is that by the end of the series, it will be heliocentrism will be like a thing that people believe in within the world. It does. I'm not saying that it's like the concept that everybody fully bought into and believes, but it'll be big enough that people won't be dying due to the church by then. That would be my assumption, at least, is that we'll at least get to that point. Whether it becomes like the main thing that everyone believes in, like at a certain point, I don't know. I don't know where we're going to end things, how far we're going to time skip and go. So it's a little harder to get that read. But I do think by the end, we're at least going to have a strong group of people who truly believe it. And we're not going to start having people get burned for, you know, their own beliefs and wanting to advance society. I like that he stored his own stuff and he contributed and did the exact thing that Hubert decided to do, right? Creating these notes and leaving his own legacy behind here for people to go into and figure that out. Probably leaving a very similar, if not the same type of note that he actually got. Oh, why is this here? And he goes in immediately and revises it. What's going on? What's the necklace about? You want to explain that? What your influence of Hubert is, what you actually knew about him? I swear to God, I'm just looking you down, knowing that you're absolutely lying about what's going on, too. The fact that the dad makes revisions is so crazy. I know nothing about this, turning a blind eye in a way. Having to figure out what exactly he wants to do and how he wants to handle it. This, I didn't know what it meant. I was trying to see. I thought it said lying at first, and then I thought it said living, and I couldn't really figure out. Apparently it translates to earth, we see towards the end, so I guess he puts his answers and short form probably within this note that he left towards the top. Get the OP, and we start getting some questions. We start attacking, and we start expanding and learning a little bit, right? The teacher, in a way, of who Hubert was, what his relationship was to him, finding out that Petotsky himself is a heretic, which is really fun to note. It seemed obvious he was like doing something, probably got caught or really concerned by the fact that he could get caught, seeing those potentially around him, and was really like, turned off by that and did not want to commit down that path. And that's why he turned into the man of faith that he ended up being. But at the same time, this makes plenty of sense that he did get caught, and he kind of renounced that he will no longer follow in this path and will devote himself entirely to God and in the ways of teaching. And then from that point on, he can continue and decide, let me not go down this path anymore. But the fact that he still has tons of books lying around, the fact that he was, enough to jump in there and kind of overwrite these sort of things, it's telling of a way of where Raph is at, right? It's his, let me observe outside. No, I can't do this. No, it's not a smart thing, but I'm drawn in and continuously taken by this. Petotsky finds himself in the same spot where he is drawn into it, but he can't commit and get that resolve enough that Raph does, where he's willing to lose his life for the truth. Instead, he hides and pretends to be a version of himself that he really isn't, just so that he can continue living on, not believing that something like that is enough really for him. It's really sad. I don't know. Or I guess we could even go the route that like, that is who he is. He is somebody who doesn't truly believe in all this, or like he's curious by it, but he's not like interested enough into it that he's willing to do all of that. Doesn't have to be that he accepted himself to be something that he wasn't, and he just kind of put up with that. Letting you know that things are going to happen to you. How much do you value your life in comparison to this? We have a little conversation about it, but let me think about it. Do you truly believe that you can prove this? And I'm under the impression when he asked this is, yes, if you truly believe, I will give you my support in the fullest, but we have to do something to protect ourselves, whether it's going over a game plan to cautiously kind of do these things because people are on to you, whether it's kind of fleeing from town, whether it's trying to go elsewhere and do things. I don't know what the answer would have been here, but I thought he would be on his side as somebody who came from a similar sort of background there. You'd expect him maybe, and has looked after him for all these years, you'd expect that to potentially be the case. Doesn't seem to be the case. He truly, unless it is, right? Unless in the exact same moment, he comes to the determination that if we put Raph through this and he kind of is just like, I'm going to go theology all the way, we're going to go to school and we're just going to do that. But in the background, he continue to do the things that he believes in and he's trying to. And he felt this was the best way for him to continue his life without having people maybe be on him as much and as overly like cautious, and just believe exactly who he states that he actually is, and what what they want. He potentially could have thought that. I don't know exactly where his mindset still is up to this point. But I didn't actually believe he was going to turn him in. But I guess it would make sense if he thinks that he can go through all this, lie his way through, and then get through, which is where I thought Raph was going to go before he ended up tearing up the commitment to the university. So I don't know. They continuously threw me for a loop. When he did this, I didn't really know what the purpose was. I didn't know what was in here. And immediately turns him in. Here's your torture device, and presents him the opportunity to come forward the next day and fully avoid what's going on. And Raph's like, oh shit, didn't know that was really my option. All right. Continues to have faith in the things he believes, loses it a little bit as time goes on, really questions until this light comes in and he's drawn to it, right? I could have had this life that was perfect and easy and all of this, but it's not what you want. It's not who you are. It's not what you're after. It does nothing for society. It does nothing for advancement, for self-growth or improvement. It does absolutely nothing for you. And at that point, he makes his declaration. I choose to believe in heliocentrism. And he, tells them everything that they want to hear until we put on the big old play in front and rip it up until the point that we're willing to carry on that belief, that legacy, everything that we need, And if we have to kill ourselves in the process, we will. So badass, everything that he goes through here, the confidence he exudes, the stepping back, how scared he was, and you can visually see that, but really committing to this belief that he has, this faith that he will have in this. and pushing back against Novak, forcing him to like really fall back here and be cautious of it. I mean, assuming he was going to be the one who died, but not necessarily realizing the play that instead of being tortured, I'd rather just die myself and let this idea linger on for somebody else to find. Trying to present these ideas of faith and these things that you continuously try and push onto people who clearly haven't declared that they feel this way and don't believe in it. Clearly, if they're going against it in certain ways and what you guys believe in, they're not going to buy into everything else. So you making these declarations of what his life's going to be after death and all of this doesn't make any sense for you to do. It just doesn't. So of course his own pushback towards the many of those who, you know, maybe had different beliefs as that with the church is really strong stuff, I think, directly coming from him, and choosing to believe in those who similarly chased after and opposed the ideas of what was commonly understood and believed, and choosing to believe in what those people have to say, as opposed to taking, you know, what those in front of us end up having for us. How that's madness. You could also call it love. Beautiful. I love the shot just flipping between these two. I think looks so good. I'd rather be alone. Absolute state of beauty before it's too late. We unfortunately have to go ahead and get burnt. Till 10 years later, we have some new members. So I don't know. I was going to question, is there any potential that these two dudes here are the two dudes that we see here? I don't think so. It's hard because of the hair. Also, it's dark, so I can't really get a good read on the hair color. If one's brown and one's black. But it's nice to know that it seems like we passed it on to two people who will probably end up believing in this, who will probably end up being our new MCs, at least for an episode, at least one. We're not going to put, you know, we don't know how quick that they're going to decide to move things on, and have discovered the teachings of Raph. I would be curious to see if they go ahead and truly believe in this stuff themselves, see where their background comes from, if they only take up an interest due to what they read directly from this, or if they've taken up an interest from, you know, their own beliefs and the things that they've kind of looked after and kept hidden for a period of time. Or maybe if they know somebody and they're going to tell them about this, if there's a group of people that they're within and they're going to bring them to this and expand on the idea there, how far the world has kind of changed over these 10 years and what the general belief is. It's something that definitely takes a little longer, but would be curious just to give it a shot and see where they end up falling and landing here. So I'm beyond excited to see what actually comes out of this and what happens. A brilliant display for that episode. Wraps up 3 episodes of just absolute phenomenal storytelling and presentation. I'm excited to see what the hell they have in store for us going forward. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, I'll like and subscribe. Down to my feel free to check out the channel and comments with this other series. I'll be back for episode 4 very soon. We're going to say fantastic one. Peace.